All right. So I've been waiting a while to say anything about the beta on the OPR website. It has definitely been tumultuous, to say the least. I've kind of just put my head down, enjoyed the tournament down in North Carolina, and then just been playing my Pacific War game and getting reacquainted with probably the original game that I like the most. But I wanted to say a few things about what's been going on in the beta. I think things have pretty much settled down. I think they've got the rules that they want. They just are adjusting points. But one thing they didn't do that I thought for sure they would do is rename these things to something a little bit more unique, less bland. And I don't see that here. So maybe that's going to be another beta once this dust settles, because I guess you can't have too many moving parts at once. Um, so the armies that I like to play, of course, a lot of elfy stuff. So I've got the high elf fleets here, and basically what they are settling on is this highborn, and this is also going to be for the high elves in fantasy, that you get +2 when advancing and +2 when rushing charging. This is not quite as good as fast. I mean, fast does give you um, 8 inches for advance, but it gives you 10 inches. Excuse me, no, I'm sorry. It gives you 16 inches on the charge. So now what you would be getting, let's see, so you got 6 and 12. So it'll be 8 and 14 instead of 8 and 16. So it's a nerf version of fast. Not a huge deal, I think, but it's gonna be noticed. You're not going to have the kind of moving maneuver that you had before, especially once you get to. Well, I guess you wouldn't know it too much with the jet bikes. The jet bikes are fast and they're highborn, which means they're going to be 10-18 instead of 10-20. With Strider, you're going to get around the board pretty quick anyway. Maybe you'll take one extra turn once a game, depending on the situation. You may not have as many targets, but you'll always have a target. So I'm not too thrilled about what they did with the high elves. They changed rending to crack, and it's not bad. I guess you save up on points. I'm not a big fan of rolling a 6 to hit and then you get a special bonus. It just makes them unpredictable. And I think elves should be very predictable in what they do. Expensive, elite, dependable troops is what you need. And crack doesn't quite fit that mold. Um, what I would put in there is just straight AP, or give them spells that add AP. Because let's take a look at the spells here. You get unwieldy, which means that the other side is they strike last. So you basically got spears. I think that's great. I think that's a great spell to have here for the high elves. Then you've got a blast, which is okay. I don't really have a strong feeling either way. Unpredictable shooter. Again, here we are with the unpredictable stuff. That's something that you should put on the jesters or somebody that's, um, you don't know what to expect. With high elves, you pretty much know what to expect. They're pretty straightforward elite troops. So this doesn't really fit, in my opinion. Pick one enemy within 24 inches. It takes 2 hits with AP4. I think that's okay. And then of course, you got the highborn boost, which since you got highborn, they got to put in the highborn boost. So if you do that, you do get the highborn boost. Now you get, so let's see, on a regular unit, 6 and 12 would be 8 and 14, and now it will be 10 and 16. I guess that's okay. Really do need Strider in there, but Yeah, I guess if you're moving around, they want them to be out in the open. And so I guess that'll do it there to make them really fast. Well, it would be interesting to see highborn boost on, let's say, uh, the bikers, the shooters, the non-strikers. What are they? The protectors. So you got guns or snipers or whatever. You got highborn. This turns into 4/4. You put that spell on them, and then you've got fast. So you got 8, 16, and then you got 12, 20 on them. That's yeah. You're moving 12 inches and then shooting. That's pretty good. And then on top of that, you put, let's say, a noble with a hit and run shooter. So they move 3 inches after they they shoot. So you could have a pretty good combination there. Speaking of leaders, they have hit and run shooter, shred, which gives them if they roll if the other side rolls a 1 to block the hits, then it deals an extra wound, which is really good. I think that's a um, if you're going to be unpredictable, that's the way to do it with the shred. I think they should have a lot more shred in their shooting weapons. Highborn boost, of course. Now, my question is, what if you have an ancient commander on a jet bike, with a jet bike squad, and then they get the spell? Do they get 6/6? Because they don't say that necessarily. They say that they move on the 4/4. Let's see the wording. If most models in this unit have highborn, they move +4 in advance, +4 in rush charge from highborn instead of +2/+2. So if you've got 2 highborn boost, you get 6/6/6. I would like clarification on that because then you have redundancy and it's wasted. I think that should just say you get an additional +2/+2. That's the way they should read it instead of saying you get a flat +4/+4 because it says to me that's the best you can do. So I would like a clarification on that. And if they say you can't get the +6/+6, then I'm going to be pretty disappointed. I think that's if you really want to make the high elves the flying all over the place, you want the +6/+6. If they put the points in, they should get it. Resistance aura. So that is kind of like the Grey Knights thing. I think that's pretty cool. Of course, you got the casters. The usual weapons, Crack is the only one that's really different. Bane has been just renamed. I think that's pretty cool. Let's see. Everything else is pretty similar to what it was before Crack, and then you've got the Highborn. So they have these special unwieldy debuffs. Again, if you have this, then a spell becomes useless for them, which is weird to always have this upgrade with the spell being the same thing. And let's see, what else did they have? Usually it's up here. Who else has the other one? Psymarker, Piercing Spotter. So 36 in line of sight of this model, rolls 1 die, place a 4 up. On a 4 up, place a marker on it. Friendly units may remove markers from their target to get plus AP. That's okay. That's good. They're doing teamwork. I think the 4 up should go. I don't. Again, that's unpredictability. It should be predictable. They spot them. They put a spotting laser on them, and yeah, I think that's cool. I would get rid of the 4 up. I guess they put in there for play balance, but it's still just it kind of ruins the theme, in my opinion, of what high elves should be. But they have their own idea of what high elves should be, and this is what they're going with. They're going with a lot of unpredictability. Otherwise, the army is pretty similar to what it was before. Of course, some point adjustments, probably going to change a little bit more until we finally get everything back down to balance and normal. Um, but the high elves look fairly similar. I think their spells are an improvement, even though I'm not overly impressed by it. It is way better than it was before. I mean, I didn't even bring a caster when I played high elves. I just felt it was a waste. It just didn't. A lot of their spells didn't make sense. At least these make sense. There's some synergy, even though I think it's not maximized. It definitely fits the army a lot better than it did before. The other army that I like to play are the dwarf guilds, and I actually really like the dwarves. I think they're good, and there is something weird here, but what the heck is this? Mindbot guard? I don't know. I don't remember these models. I guess we're going to get new models after the you know. Can I get a clarification? I mean, I don't know what this is. This is light ion cannons. I don't remember this at all. When I look at the old uh, list, I don't see it here. And I don't remember any models for it. So this is a brand new unit that they're throwing in there. Somebody definitely likes the dwarves in OPR land. They have slow as before, but now they've got sturdy, where if they get shot out, somebody's poking at them from far away, they get +1 to the defense, which is actually really good. It mitigates AP. A lot of their defense is, 4 up, 3 up. They don't have a lot of 5 up like the miners or the berserkers. So they're going to be tougher than most armies, that fits the theme. It's really good. They're slow and they're tough, especially from long distance. It encourages other sides to close the gap on them so that the dwarves can actually charge. So it helps them a lot. I looked at, let's see, the speed debuff where they can slow down their enemies. And then where was the other one? The other one, Devastating Frenzy. This was a kind of dark elfy feel. So they're making the dwarves feel more volcanic dwarfy. I don't know. I mean, a Devastating Frenzy where you go in and when you destroy a unit, you put a marker on this unit and they get +1 AP and +1 defense. So, yeah, they get stronger as they kill stuff, which is to me a dark elf, and dark elves do have it. So that makes sense of dark elves. I thought this was a little out of place unless you are completely changing the lore on what dwarves usually are. I do know that the dwarves are kind of the bad guys because they're the ones that caused the rift and just messed up the Sirius sector, and they attacked the orcs and they were the aggressors and so forth. So yeah, maybe they are the, you know, aggressive, Devastating Frenzy type of dwarves, depending on how they go with the lore. I'm imagining their dwarves are going to be the bad guys in this universe, or close to the bad guys. They don't like doing bad guys in this universe. So, yeah, I really like the dwarves. I think they've got a good amount of synergy. If you look at their spells, they get rapid charge, which allows them to get in there on a lot of times and mitigate their slow problem. Sturdy boost. See, this is what I'm talking about. The sturdy boost comes here on level 2, whereas the elves had it on level 3. And I didn't like that at all. Of course, they got their damage spells, which I'm never fully impressed with, but they always come in handy, especially at the end game when you need to just knock out a unit that's almost dead. And you can do it with these guys and then go charge somebody else that needs charging. And then the deceleration rune, this is the same as the other. So I'm seeing a pattern here where two of the spells can be bought on other units. Again, I'm getting the impression they don't stack. But, maybe Tano will explain this a little bit better. So I haven't really looked at the other armies too closely. I know that the Dark Elf Raiders, they look pretty cool. The Alien Hives I did look at earlier, but I haven't looked at it recently. So you're going to get a hot take here. The Hive Bond +1 to morale. I think that's good. You know, these guys should stick in a fight better and not have a high quality. So I'm thinking that's pretty good. And they don't seem to be changed that much. You know, you've got the assault grunts, they've got the hive bond strider. All these things seem pretty similar. Moves +1 when advanced, so they get kind of a half fast on that, which I think is cool. They already have fast, they're almost very fast. Or Bane and melee, piercing growth. So I think what is that? Place one at the beginning of each round, starting round. Oh, so they just get stronger and stronger. Place one marker on this unit at the beginning of each round, starting on the round after which it was deployed. So starting round 2. For each marker, models with this rule get AP1 to a max of 2. So basically, round 2, you get AP1, and then round 3, you're going to get AP2. So that is really good. Just hold them back for a round or two, get them into position, and then come flying. I mean, you get a unit of 20 with 2 attacks. That's 40 AP2 attacks. Oh my word. That is going to be absolutely crazy. What do these guys get for this roll? It gets with. Wait a second. Place one marker on the scene and begin a round. Starting the round after which is deployed, counting game. For each marker model with this rule gets AP1 at this unit is ever shaken, loses all its markers. Does that mean that the biospiners, which already have AP1, could get an additional? So it could be AP3, or does it have to be on the claws? Because combat mutation, piercing growth, that sounds like it's for melee, but it doesn't say that unless I'm reading it wrong. So that needs clarification. Otherwise, it looks similar to the assault grunts. Wing grunts, same deal here again. Are you giving them yeah, I need to know. That sounds like it's for melee. Let me read this again, make sure. Place one marker on this unit at the beginning of each round, starting the round after it's deployed. For each marker, models with this rule in it get AP1 up to max 2. Yeah, it doesn't say. I mean, you're just going to get, for attacks, +2 and then +3 up here. That's insane for 25 points on 10 of them. Yeah, that sounds like an auto take. You're going to, with one, everybody's going to take this if that's the case. That's crazy. Anyway, some people are saying that the alien hives were nerfed. No, and no. Hive bind, again, you get the boost on the 2 spell. Unpredictable fighter. See, that makes sense for them. And then you've got hit and run over here. So the Hive Guardians are going to get unpredictable fighter. And then let's see who gets the other one. Hive Warriors should get unpredictable fighter. So where's their second burn? No, that's not it. They should get a second kind of boost, but I don't see it here. All right, so anyway, so Alien Hives, they look incredible. I'm glad I'm looking at my my model count. I think I've got 30 assault grunts printed out or something crazy. So I'm gonna be testing these guys out big time. So that's just a hot take. I don't know if I'm right on that. But on the fantasy side, Those are the armies that I use and I've been paying attention to. On the fantasy side, you've got the high elves that I play. They've got the highborn, just like the high elf fleets. And piercing tag 2 once per game during this model's activation. Pick one enemy within 36 inches. Line of sight, place X marker. So you put 2 markers on it. Friendly units may remove markers to get AP. Okay, so that's okay. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Volley fire indirect when shooting. Okay, that's pretty cool. You should get to shoot over guys. Oh, does that happen for their regular archers? Yes. Okay. That is really cool. That makes a lot of sense that they put their defensive guys up front, their shield guys, and then they volley over. That sounds pretty darn cool. I like that a lot. I think I'm going to be reprinting my high elves so I can make them a little bit nicer because some of them have been getting broken. But let's see how the wood elves compare to that. Did they get volley as well? Let's go to their, is it not grave defenders? Is it defenders? I know scouts have. Okay, they just got a rapid bow or pierce. 5 deals extra wound. That's pretty cool. Yeah, because they should be more like snipers. Blade guardians. These are long bows. Nope, they don't get volley. But they do get wild veil, which means it's hard to hit them, which means that they're not going to have guys in front of them blocking them like the high elves where they have good formations. Really like how the high elves look there. Let's see. Forest watch, grounded protection. If you're within 1 inch. Okay, so this is a remnant of the old rules that on the beginning of beta, they had stuff like this. So they get basically an invulnerable save. Roll for each wound, you roll 5 up, and then you can ignore it if you're near terrain or in terrain. So that's pretty good. They're going to be in terrain. Let's see, Lancers, grounded protections, the same thing. Let's see, War Dancers, quick shot mark. Once per activation, pick one enemy unit so somebody else can get a quick shot. That's pretty cool. I like that. So yeah, the elves look pretty good. I'm pretty excited about where they're going. And then what was the other army I liked? I'm thinking about getting into Vampiric Undead and the Human Empire. Human Empire are like the humans in sci-fi, where they got hold the line, they get +1 morale, just like the alien hives. But they'll get, let's see, hold the line, buff, furious, precision shooter. So yeah, they look pretty good. And then the Vampiric Undead have been nerfed because they got rid of, so they just get a 6-up save. And then let's see, they get no retreat aura, cursed undead, so they'd be 5 or 6 to yeah, so I mean they're definitely nerfed. Mind control. Pick one enemy unit and take a morale test. If they fail, they move 6 inches in a straight line in any direction. That's pretty cool. I like that. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with what they did with the armies that I like. I don't know how the other armies fared, but I'm appropriate. I'm happy enough with what I see here. Next up, I'd like, first of all, I like a couple clarification things, or, if we can't stack things, then, we kind of lose the whole thing about having the buffs and the spells. So if you take the buffs, then you're not going to take a caster. If you take a caster, you're probably not going to buff your guys. So, yeah, that's just how that looks. The new army, the dwarves here, let's see how they are coming out. They got slow and sturdy, just like the others. And do they have any buffs? Devastating frenzy. So yeah, it looks like they just kind of mirrored what the sci-fi is into the fantasy. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's okay. I think it's simple enough, the rules that they're putting in there. I think they're accomplishing what they wanted. Is it what everybody wants? Probably not. I was very intrigued with the initial rules where they were really, um, they're very fancy, I would say. These are not fancy. They're pretty straightforward. Um, I think the high elf fleets could use a little bit more refinement of the armies that I mentioned, but the fantasy side, I think they're doing a pretty good job. I haven't looked at all of them. Like I said, I'm just now getting back into it because everything was swinging so much from back to forth. I mean, every day I was seeing a different rule or a different point cost, and it was just too much for me to keep up with. But now I think we can start looking at this and start to get an idea of where they want to go. So I'm very excited to see what they're going to end up. We're in the middle of October, and they said by the end of October, so we're supposed to be very, very close. And I definitely want to see how this is all going to shake out, and I really want to see what everybody else thinks. I know Warboss Fitz is doing a lot of games where he is testing these, uh, but he is just carpet bombing the entire army book where he's just playing as many as he can. Darn the torpedoes, full speed ahead type of attitude, which is awesome. But things have changed so much that his testing is kind of out of date. I watched a video a couple days old, and the rules have already changed. So it is quite the whirlwind. I don't know if I like it or not. I'll have to think on it for a while, but it's definitely exciting to see how much work is going into this game and how much feedback this company accepts. What a difference between some other companies and this company of how they listen to the fans. Now, they may not listen to the right fans, in our opinion, but they still listen. And that's a good thing. And eventually they will, if they don't get it right this time, I have confidence they'll get it right very soon. Um, but I think they're going to get it right enough. So that's my thoughts. What were yours? Put it in the comments and try to be nice. And I'll see you next time.